Hello, hello. Guess whose voice is back and actually functioning? It feels good to not, talk and feel pain in my my throat. But that's the wrong button. We'll get this right eventually, one day. Now the Godot plushie is in my way. Where is it? There we go. That and that. There we go. So, yesterday I took a bit of a break. I didn't really do much, well, any coding actually. So I can't really remember. Malwarebytes? No. I can't really remember what I was doing. I think I was designing a task system for this and implementing object spawning. I think that's where I was at. And yeah, one thing I did actually manage to do yesterday at like 3 o'clock in the morning when I just could not sleep was figure out what I actually want to do with this game. So I was looking at it, right? I sat there and I was like, okay, where do I want to take this? Because right now we have terrain generation, we have colorless movement, we have like this thing moving around. I can mess around with the terrain data to actually make it so it avoids certain things. And I was like, as a concept, this type of game has already been done a lot, right? You've got RimWorld, which is the big one. You've got Going Medieval, and so many others that are in this kind of top-down colony management style. I was like, well, what else? What could I do to add something new, or just do something that I would really enjoy? I was like, well, what if this is a bit of planet colonization with some spacey things and with a higher focus on more strategic combat to just kind of add to it, right? So instead of getting invaded, which will happen, your little settlement will get raided every now and then from like different alien species and all of those fun things. I was thinking, your colonists could be basically sent down to this planet as like an extermination mission. You wipe out the planet so you can recolonize it, and you can go and do that with different planets, which sounds really, really dark. Basically, Warhammer themed kind of deal, right? So that's kind of what I was thinking. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing with this, or at least testing with this. For now, we still got to get the basic colony placement in. Hey Art, how you doing? Guess whose voice is back? It works. My voice has returned. But yeah, so I think right now I just plan on getting some really, really, really basic things in, and I'm going to do this in a really rough way. Because at the end of the day, this is more or less just a prototype, and I don't want to be spending more than a month making this. I want to get the prototype done, get it tested. Yeah, keep it simple. Get it tested and just go from there. So I'm not going to be doing any big things when it comes to like coding. I'm going to really duct tape this together with some bubble gum and duct tape and just get it to function. So yeah, actually, one thing that I will show off is one thing I'm doing, and I don't know how to feel about this. I don't really know if I feel comfortable with this yet, is I have this script here, terrainutils.gd. Now, what that actually contains is scenes, autoloads, terrain utils, an enum, right? It contains an enum for tile types, and it contains getter and setter functions for the terrain size, cell size, and house cell size. Mostly because a certain individual's bones were aching when they saw me hard coding numbers using magic numbers, which was pain, which I agree with. It is pain. Yeah, I thought, I'll just throw this out there. Why am I using static? These don't need to be static. I did this at 4 o'clock in the morning when I was like half asleep, so we just leave it as it is. It functions for now. I can remove what I need to remove as we go. But what basically happens here is now when the terrain gets set up, it will set these variables for me, right? This gets set up, and this gets set up. Now, right now, they are just hard-coded to the 64, 32, 32, but I can set these anytime I want to. More specifically, I can set the cell size, and then I can go through and set something for the half cell size, which is nice. It's nice knowing both of those things, but it does mean be careful. Yeah, like I said, this is very rough with how this is. Sure, explain. Teach, tell me. So far as like storing info on a resource at runtime, that's a good point. Yeah, see, one thing, like, this is why I was saying, I don't know why I was doing static with this. Realistically speaking, I can just do that, and it makes zero difference. Like, functionally, it makes zero difference to what I'm actually using these for, so just having the variables be set like that would also just be fine. If sure where the data is stored changes the reference, give you wonky results. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I said I can just remove that, though. That should still function the same. Yeah. Yeah, it makes, like, just removing static. If, like, this is one of those little things where it's just like, okay, if I remove that and just stop myself from having future issues, then I may as well just remove it now. But yeah, functionally, it's all set, like, actually working the same. Yes, as I said, I don't know how I feel about having auto loads like this, because this is an auto load. It's a actual, like, globals auto load. Let's keep runtime there on an instance. Yeah, no, that's fair. I agree with that. Yeah, this still irks me a little bit. I don't know why. I think for a very long time I was, I sat and listened to the auto loads are hell. Never, don't overuse auto loads, and it's the same thing with inheritance and like componentizing things like that. It's just like there's a right place and a wrong place to use things, and auto loads, I just got drilled into me a bit where it's just don't use them ever, and it's like, well, no, you can use them in a lot of instances. Like, this is not, it's a valid use. It might not be the best use, but it's a valid use. Yes, for now, what I think I'm going to do is get a really, really, really dumb object spawner in. Let's go do that. This needs to just be a node. Actually, wait. I am remembering. Where is it? It should be entities, no, managers. Hey, look at that. I already set up the node and the script to go with it. And swallowed in theory is anti-patterns. Some people hate anti-patterns. Yeah, no, that's fair. I can understand that. I think after prototyping's done, I will end up reworking pretty much everything after I've figured out if this is even fun as an idea, I think that's a big thing that people get stuck on a lot, is figure out if the idea is fun first before anything, like, you put any substantial effort into it. Now I've got to figure out where that was again. Managers, there we go. Anos, hi, how you doing? There you go, terrain manager. Right, so what am I going to need for a terrain manager? That's a great question. So, actually, here's a really fun thing, right? This is what I used to mess around with when I was working on this, yeah, the C# project. I had something similar to this, and then I reworked it, and this was all before I started streaming it. When I was going through setting up the cell data here, which, by the way, is now using that enum instead of its own inbuilt thing. That way everything has access to the enum, which is one of the reasons why I like to use it, or one of the reasons why I want to use it for now. When I was going through and setting this up, when I was actually going through terrain generation, what I was doing is separating each individual tile type, right? So plains would go into a plains array, forest would go into a forest array, dirt into a dirt array, mud and mud, etc., etc. Which text editing program is that? I can only see is one of the JetBrains editors. This is Rider. So, fun fact, if you want to go and test this right now, if you want to go and test Rider with Godot, you can go to the website and it is free for use right now, but it's free for non-commercial use. So if you want to, use it, be an upstanding citizen and use it and just see if you like it, go do that. But you do have to pay for it if you want to, use it as a commercial thing. Now, if you want to know how to set that up in Godot, it is actually quite simple. All you have to do is go into your editor settings, and then just type, was it text editor? Yeah. So, no, wait. Yep, here, external, text editor, external. Set up your actual path for it. As you can see, I have it in its own directory here, JetBrains Rider. Bin rider.exe, you basically just set that up, and then you go down to your .NET editor as well if you're using the .NET version of this, and you set it up there as well. And then what happens is you just open it and go from there. Now, there is a word of warning that I'm going to give you here. If I close this out, right, and here's a really big thing to look at, up here where it says Colony Simulator, just pay attention to this. If I close this, and then I open up this script again by clicking the script button like you would normally do in Godot, one thing that Rider is, in my opinion, either really bad at, or I just have this misconfigured, which could genuinely be a thing, is as you can see here, trust and open the managers directory. This is trying to open a new, basically a new solution or a new project inside of managers. So if I hit trust and open, you're going to see a bunch of errors going to pop up because now it doesn't know that this is Godot. It doesn't know that this is actually Godot. It's not set up for Godot. It's a bit weird, even though this is using Godot syntax. If you hover over it, class not found, it's just not working. But you can see up here that your selected solution is set to that folder. What do you mean that does not exist? I will cut you. So what I usually do is, before I open a project, even like I don't open the script, I just open up the Rider IDE here, like the actual task launcher thing, solution launcher, and then I go and grab the what? How is this not working? Oh god, this is gonna drive me crazy. Okay, let's remove that for now. And then let's see that remove from list. What I'm going to have to do now. Oh, I know why that's happening. There you go. So this is my dev folder, which is basically where I have all of my dev related things. This shouldn't be a thing that you run into a lot. So yeah, what you do is you just click the folder you want, you right click on it, you go into show more options, and you open file with JetBrains Rider. Changed my opinion to use Rider in 10 seconds. Rider's really nice. It is really nice. It just has some things with it, you know, like it just has some things. Get past those things, figure out how to use those things. It works fine. You get access to, if you pay for it, a neat AI, which can help you with Git. You also get access to Git commits and things like that. So you can just set up your GitHub and just go through there. So you never have to do anything functioning with Git ever again. You just commit and be happy with it. Other than that, it's got just really nice functionality. It looks clean. I can use the Monkai theme and Fira and things like that and get my ligatures and everything. It just feels good to use. And of course, it gets preset up with the debug here, which sometimes functions, sometimes doesn't. It's a bit finicky. There we go. And then I can debug through that editor as well. Or I can debug through Godot if I really feel like it. Yeah, it's really, really nice. It can be really, really useful. What was I doing? Yes, so what I was doing with this originally with the cell data was every time I would basically create it, I would then go through the dictionary or array that I'm storing it in, and I would separate them into their own dictionaries or arrays that would basically contain those specific cells or those specific resources for those specific cells. So all of the planes would go in a planes dictionary. What that would allow me to do then is I could basically run through a for loop for that specific set of tiles, and I can be like, hey, you can spawn any of these items in here, run a chance, see what you get. And it'll allow you to just kind of spawn a bunch of things. Now, there is a much better way of doing it, and I know there is a much better way of doing it because I've done it in a better way before, but for now, that's probably what I'm just going to do. It just adds a little bit extra to the terrain generator. Where is that? There it is. The terrain generator, that's the TSCN, there we go. So this dumb, that's placing the tiles based off of the actual cell data resource and the key that's being placed through. This is where commenting your own code is really useful, because I have to read through this now and go, what am I doing? How does this work? So right down here is where I'm setting up the noise array. It is. And then this dictionary is being, yeah, okay, so I could just do that there. That's great. Just use AI to comment, saves time. Yeah, that is something that I should actually start doing. I'm still getting used to how to use this AI. There's a lot of commands and things like that you know, you can use. So I will probably set that up at some point. Now, this is a really big thing, and me and Art had a conversation about this. Don't use AI to generate everything for you. Do it to do the really menial things, comments, Git pushes, like your Git commit messages, just menial things. Get it to kind of explain things to you a little bit so you can just go through it. Just don't get it to generate things for you, because if you don't know how to use the code, it can be problematic in the future. So, without how I'm actually placing these tiles, this is actually really interesting, right? So how I'm placing these tiles is I can just create a new dictionary for each individual tile type, and I can add the tiles that is getting placed through like this, and I don't actually need to do any extra looping. It just works from this. I guess I could do that for now. The only downside to what I'm thinking about doing is we use AI for you know right away it messed up when you see 6 fingers. It's the same for coding, but worse if you don't know the code. Yeah, 100%. That is 100% true. Like, you gotta remember, programming is like speaking a different language in some ways. If you don't know the language, then you don't know where you're messing up until somebody either corrects you or you learn more about it. So if somebody generates something for you and you just don't know how to read through the code, it could be doing the thing you exactly want it to do, but it could also be doing it in a very, very bad way, or it just won't work. In a lot of instances, it just won't work, and then you're just stuck with a lot of code that you don't know how to use. The Godot plushie is in the wave chat. No. Let's put that there. Stay. There we go. Yeah, I think what I can just do here is just set up a... This is where a biome type kind of dictionary would be very useful. So I could group plains, grass, and forest into biome types, right? Or I could do plains and grass into biomes types, forest into its own, dirt and mud into its own, gravel and stone. This is where like some intricacies come in, because if I make a dictionary for each individual tile type, if eventually I end up adding a lot more, like this is going to get refactored. This is a currently okay way of doing this, but when I have 25 different tile types, that's going to be a big match statement. And although somewhat okay, there's still probably better ways of doing it. I don't want that many different dictionaries, so it might just be a bioming thing where I go grass, forest, and plains are their own dictionary, and then I go dirt, mud, and gravel are their own dictionary, stone, rock, and mountain their own dictionary. That way it's just separated into 3. And then I suppose what I could do, this is how I end up thinking about code. It's like after that, what I could then do is just go, because these are going to be actually stored as cell data resource, I can read the data, like the actual type that it is, through probably another match statement for each biome. And I can be like, if it's a plains, place berry bushes. If it's grass, place flowers. If it's forest, place trees. I can basically do that. And I can kind of drill down into that as much as I want to. That might be what I end up doing. Yeah, let's just do that for now, right? Let's just do that for now. So, for a start, what I'm actually going to do is go to my terrain utils here, and I'm going to just set a new enum for biome types. I'm going to go... we'll just set a grass biome type, a... No, that's not going to work. Yeah, we'll just set a grass biome type, a dirt biome type, and a mountain biome type. Am I spelling mountain correctly? I am. I don't like how those are not capital, or how those are capitalized and those aren't, so we're just going to change that like that. There we go. So, with biome types being handled, what I can now do is create 3 dictionaries stored on my terrain generator for now. I can go var biome, no, cell underscore biome grass underscore dict. That should probably do for now. God, it does feel good to be back to coding though. Like that. Oh, I know what I could name that actually, even better. Because giving it some separation from the original cell data, I could literally just name that biome data grass dictionary. That way we know it's a biome, it's got data, it's grass, and it's a dictionary. Done. So then what I can do here is when I'm setting these tiles, I can pass through the biome data grass dictionary, and then I can do this. I can grab the key, and then I can go plus the current cell. You're being angry at me. Why? What have I done? Standalone expression in line may have no effect. What? Oh, wait. Is it plus equals? Not plus plus. Plus equals. There we go. Stop coding for one day and you forget how basic plus equals works. Woo. But what that should do there is give me the location of the current cell that's being placed and the cell data itself. And then I can just do this for each, like this. And that will be forest. Do I like this? Do I like how this is going to function? Will it just do for now? Yeah, I'll just say I'll do for now. Wait, if I'm doing this, then why did I set up the enum for this? Oh, I know why. I love questioning myself. Dirt. Hey Art, let me know if your bones start to ache again. Okay, that should be fine. That's yep. And then we'll do one more. See, one thing that I'm thinking about is I could actually resource this out. Now that I'm starting to get a little bit better at like knowing what I can and cannot do with resources, I think there's a way that I could probably resource this out. And I think a certain somebody's already kind of shown me how. Sometimes it's fine to use magic numbers to keep things dry. Yeah, one thing I actually do need to go through and do with this is change these specifically and the source to non-magic numbers, like remove them. Also, that extra 0 can technically be removed because there is no alternate tiles to these yet. When I eventually add things like seasons and weather effects and things like that, there will be alternate tiles to each individual tile. But for now, that does clean it up a little bit. And then on top of that, just going through, removing the source number. Hell, I could just, you know, go var source int equals 1. And then I can just go source like that. Yeah. Wait, no, wait, that, and then... Does that not work with this? It does not. Well, that's just rude. Wait, can I? Oh! There are some slight hotkey differences in this compared to VS Code, which bugs me sometimes. But yeah, yeah, a multi-line edit's still nice. So yeah, the rest of this is just, hey, I would need to go and store an actual reference to what the tile location is inside the tile atlas, which I could technically do up here. I just guess I don't really want to right now. But good news is, with these being set, what I can now do is more or less go through the terrain object manager, since this is probably named wrong, if I'm going to be completely honest. This should probably just be the spawner, and the object manager should be the thing that actually messes with the data itself, whereas the spawning of items should be handled by something separate. Technically speaking, that's probably the better way of doing this. That way I can have some proper separation. Really quick thing I'm actually going to do here is, after my... Or here, that is really annoying. After that, I'm going to very quickly run through some print statements. I want to just run through the keys. Yeah, we'll just do this for now. We'll just run through the keys and make sure those keys are getting stored correctly, and discard local. Why did you error? Access to property or key in base type of dictionary. Oh no. Excuse me? What do you mean? Keys, it returns an array. Yeah, that's correct. Oh. That's confusing? Question mark. Oh. That's all being passed through. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this wrong, and that makes me laugh. When you forget how to use dictionaries. There we go. Grand. Just casually forgetting how to use dictionaries, you know, normal things. Run, make sure that is all of my tile positions. And there we go, we're skipping tile positions, perfect. Grand, so we now know what is grass and what is not grass. I kind of made a mistake last night and I started messing around with C++ again. It was an experience, just, yeah, messing around with arraylib. Go back to the switch real quick. Yeah, sure. Here you go. Tell me what you see. Good? Okay. One thing that I should do is actually call this the atlas source. That way it's actually obvious what that is. I was wondering if you could constant the switch. I don't know if you can do that in GDScript. Unless you can. You're storing stuff. Yeah, I'm literally just placing tiles and storing data. That's all I'm doing at the moment. Because I want to separate my tile data into 3 different distinct biomes. Then I can just go through and place objects based on what's inside those biomes. Okay, yeah, fair. Still have a sleep brain here. Is there anything else in this that I could very slightly rework? We've got generating reset there. This doesn't need to happen anymore. What I'm actually going to do is, that is C# kicking in. There we go. Comment those out for now, just in case I do need them eventually. One thing I can also do is this. Something that I should actually show off. That should function, yeah. So what should happen now is generate, and there you go. So print debug. Basically what that does is just it gives you a proper debug print, and it tells you exactly what line's doing it and where. So, you know, at this file, this script, this line, the function that's calling it, quite useful. Especially if you're like me and you forget where you place your debug messages every. Make a constant dictionary of the enum and reference to the callable, but this use case is a bit different. Oh no, I understand kind of what you mean there. Yeah, I think this use case is a little bit different for that. Right now it's handling through, oh god, where is it there? This. Which is my auto-loaded enum for the types, which is also getting set through here. So types. And then it's getting handled through here for actually placing the tiles. And then, of course, we're separating each individual tile into its correct biome type, which I actually need to factor in the biome type correctly. So it's just storing stuff dynamically, I think. Probably. Probably. How would I like to factor this in? That's a good question. See, if I wanted to overcomplicate this a little bit, I could actually just remove the biome data and just stitch it together using or remove these dictionaries and then stitch it together properly using the biome types that I have here, which I will more than likely end up doing. But I think what I'm going to end up doing instead is just not doing that right now, because I know me, I'll end up spending too much time on it and won't get much done. And for now, I really just want to get some basic objects spawning in. So discard local. Now what I need to do before I get too distracted, it's working, move on. Yeah, pretty much. That is the plan. Offline assets. There we go. Now I have berries. We'll just go with the bush for now. We'll go with the tree and... yeah, what is this? Oh yeah, that was a little thing that I made for the walls. Yay for remembering things. So what is currently in my resources? No assets. There we go. Just that. Okay. Yeah, one of the things you'll probably end up noticing is you can kind of tell that this is very much a prototype. And that's just because of how I'm storing my assets. Usually what I actually like to do is separate them a lot, because I like to have a lot of different types of assets. That's the wrong button. Let's do that. Let's do berry bush. And do we need the rock wall? No, that's going to need to be its own thing where I set up proper auto tiling. Realistically speaking, I could do that now, actually. Ooh. No, we'll do that in a minute. That's me doing things differently than what I want to be doing. There we go. Just throw those in there, and there we go. Done. Now we have our cute little trees, which are very, very terrible art. And we have our cute little berry bushes, which are also very, very terrible art. Yay for making placeholder art. Now, the one thing that I realized... wait a second. Did I not? Project settings, general, textures, linear, nearest. Did I not do that originally? What do you mean? Ah, I forgot to do that. That kind of explains why I thought that was a bit blurry. Okay, cool. Wait a second. Okay, I thought the terrain generation messed up a little bit there. But yes, with current terrain generation, by the way, I just want to throw this out there. I'm loving this. Where we get like these deep forests, these rocky mountains, and then like these just big open plains. This is really, really nice. Really, really fun and chill to just kind of work with because it means I can do some proper separation. Next thing is, how about this? We're just gonna get trees spawning, right? That's kind of how I ended the last stream quite early, was just getting trees spawned. So we're just going to do that again very quickly. We're going to do that probably through creating more resources. This is just going to be a folder for entity. I should separate that more. Let's do that. One more folder for objects. No, yes, world objects, world objects, world objects. Base world group resource, that needs to extend resource, create. So this is just going to be the basic world objects. Now, basic world object is going to, what is everything going to need? Well, everything is going to need a texture health value, and now that'll probably just handle it, just texture and health value. Yes, yes, yes. Technically speaking, these don't need to be exported, but meh, we'll just do it anyway. I have not been coding for an entire day, and it's already like my fingers just forget how to do this. Alright. We have that handled. What's next on the chopping block for this? Well, so this is just the world objects. So world objects are going to be like bushes, trees, rocks, things like that. And then you're going to have item objects, like for the more componentized version. So that's going to handle food types, weapons, armors, all of those different shenanigan-y things. So this is where an enum would actually be quite nice to just be like, this is what it is. But I think there's a better way of doing that I may end up doing in the future. Also, art, something that I forgot to mention. I am actually going through the scripts you sent me. I am working on something using them. I'm going to figure something out, or I'm trying to figure a few things out with them. So when I figure those out, I will let you know and get your opinion on it, because that'd be fun. That would be fine there. Now, next thing that I want to do is make sure that just saves. Yes, good, grand. For now, I'm just going to do this in a really, really, really dumb way and just create the resource based off of that. This is just going to be a tree. Object health, object texture, quick load, tree placeholder, go. Now let's just get a really, really basic object spawner in. Object spawn. I mean, am I doing that through my terrain object manager? Yeah, let's just stop making new things and just work with this for now. I'm still going to need the object type though, so yeah. Do I just do this as a sprite or do I just do this as a 2D scene? Technically speaking, a sprite would be fine, but may as well just do 2D scene to start, yeah. Base world object. Save under entity, what that's under my resources. Scenes, game, entity, new folder. World objects, don't do that, there we go. Spelled correctly, grand. This is just going to need a sprite for now, and now we need to grab a script on top of it. Yeah. God, this is where namespaces would be really, really nice. I really miss namespaces. I really wish Godot had something namespace related. That would be really, really, really cool. Oh, and let's do that on... Let's see if I remember how to do this correctly. That should... I think that's correct, yeah. Run on ready. Okay, now for underscore ready, we're just going to set the sprite 2D's texture real quick. Dot texture equal to the object resource dot object texture, and that should do with that, right? So what should happen here is the second I give this a texture and then play. Grand, right, that works for now. We're going to want to handle the offset as well, where they're offsetting correctly. Sizing might be a bit of an issue. Yes, sizing is a bit of an issue. So what I'm going to do is grab that tree placeholder real quick. That's fine. It's the Y offset should be -64 if memory serves. Yep, there we go. And that is going to definitely need to be something that gets done programmatically depending on the texture that gets passed through. That is something we're going to have to probably write down and move into. Grand. So now my terrain object manager is going to need export var the world object that it's just going to currently place. So that's just going to be tree. Base world object, so that equal to null. Ooh, that's thought. I won't be able to get called in the ready function. Instead, what I'm going to need to do is actually pass through a dictionary for the cell data. That's where biome typing with an enum could be quite useful. How do I want to do this? Let's just get the basic world object spawning first. Let's go var new underscore object. So that equal to that's going to need to be done in a for loop. So I'm still going to need to have the cell data pass through. Okay, let's go dictionary for key in dictionary for key in the dictionary. Go on, there we go. New underscore object. Nope, we're going to want to do a random chance thing first. So I'm going to want to quickly call randomize, and then do var rand, set that equal to rand f range between 0 and 1.0. If rand is greater than the chance, for now should work. I then need to go through my loop. Actually, I could just do this if it's less than the chance. Just do a quick return. Yeah. Why are you having issues with this? Was this field's return type be specified as float? Oh, yeah. Sure, why not? So now, if the chance is greater, and we can continue, now I need to actually start spawning my object. So var new underscore object is equal to, that's wrong, that needs to be a packed scene. Which now needs to be a base world object. Set that equal to the world object dot instantiate, and then I can just more or less add this to whatever parent I want to. So for now, I'm just going to add child to this. We'll just do new object, and then the position is going to need to be in the actual key itself, right? Yeah. So yay for just quickly prototyping dumb things out. New object dot position is equal to key. That should be very quick and very dirty, but it should do what I want it to do. That needs to be a global position as well, if memory serves. No. Maybe. And then that needs to be times by the terrain utils dot size. Is it divided? No, it's times. Yeah, that should function. Okay, so what I'm going to do real quick here is go to my terrain generator. So I'm just going to add this straight to the terrain generator for now. Control-Shift-A. Terrain object manager. Load object. Quick load the world, this world object. There we go. Aha. Now I think I just need to run that. Yeah, I just need to run that through the terrain generator. So for now, let's just go and get another export here. Let's spell things correctly. Terrain underscore object underscore manager of type terrain object manager, so that equal to null. And then after the tiles have been placed, the dictionary has been done, I can right here. Is that going to be correct? Yeah. Yeah. So now what I can do is just call that terrain object manager dot spawn object, and now I just need to pass through the dictionary for, say, the biome grass data dictionary, and that should work. Let's click play and see if it breaks. Everything broke. Okay, how did it break? Oh wait, no, I know what it's doing. It's having an issue. There it is. Oh no. Stop. Didn't set that up. Fun pathfinding. Hey, do the thing, damn it. Really? You're gonna be like that? Okay, fine. Let's do this. Let that be done. Give me its error. There we go. And fix. In base nil. Did I not? Oh no, I did. Wait, what? Give me that error again. Non-existent function called spawn object in base nil. Why are you not accepting my changes? So this is another thing I keep running into with using Rider. Sometimes it's not accepting the change that I actually make to the script and updating it inside of this, right? So that's normal. There is no export for that now. Makes sense. Make sure that's saved. That now works. Make sure it's... That saved the second, or that removed itself the second that I... Sometimes. Sometimes. Let's go and get that relaunched. There we go. Vector 2, I multiplication issue. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, God, okay. You done being grumpy with me? Yeah, Godot. No? Yes? Maybe? There we go. That's annoying. Can I just do the dumb here and just say as a vector 2? That didn't convert, did it? It did not. Rider issues, man. They will be the death of me. So, global position and the key are the things that aren't actually matching correctly. Oh, wait, no, it's the cell size that's not actually matching correctly. Huh. Because that's a vector 2i, and that's just a vector 2. Well, shit. It is actually around that time that I can go make some coffee, so I'm going to be back in about 3-4 minutes. And yeah, we will figure this out when I get back. So yeah, coffee break. Hell yeah. Alright, fresh coffee acquired, and I pressed the wrong button again. Hell yeah. So... This is annoying. So what's actually happening here is because of how I'm actually storing the dictionary in the terrain generator. That's the wrong thing. Wait, what? Oh wait, no, that's the right thing. Yeah. So right here, the actual key itself is a vector2i, which is annoying. But for the A-star grid to work, it needs to be a vector2i, which is what's painful. So now I just need to figure out how to not use a vector2i for this, or store it differently. And that's this, isn't it? Wait, that's a vector2. Wait a second. Oh, wait. Terrain utils, this. No, that should break a lot of things. That should break specifically the A-star grid, I think. It could be wrong, let's find out. But technically speaking, that should now function. If this wants to do the debugging for me. Yep. That is what I was afraid of. So do this here real quick. Can I just force a conversion? Oh, I can. But now there's no tree spawning. Right. Still, that'll function for now. Just some duct tape and bubble gum to keep it going. So my thought of this is it's returning out every single time it can. So let's just lower the chance a little bit. Oh no, now we have an error. Oh, that's interesting. What's the error? Can't get valid point path out of bounds. That's fine. That's just me misclicking. Grand. And now you're bugged again. Because of what exactly? Did that revert? Yes, it did. It reverted. No longer reverting, no longer running into an issue. I'm genuinely starting to think about just using the Godot editor. That's annoying. Why is that happening? Godot. Give it a second. It's frozen and unhappy. There we go. That's why it's frozen and unhappy, because that's a big dictionary. That's problematic. I've got to regenerate the whole dictionary again. Ooh, yeah, that's already something that I'm going to start to have problems with, because that's a big dictionary. I might want to just lower my terrain generation amount, actually. I might do it. Give it a second. Just to see what the random flow actually comes up with real quick. Downside of working with your maximum terrain size right here. Also downside of using dictionaries. I'm assuming that's probably what's causing this mostly. That's really bad though. Noise scale, that's coming back fine. That's got to generate a whole bunch of things. Causing what? Oh, the basically Godot is just locking up right now whilst I'm trying to breakpoint through it, as you can see. Yeah, this I assuming this is just me overdoing it with tiles. So what I'm going to do very quickly is change that down to just a 10 by 10. And that should not cause the same issue. Yeah, there we go. So dictionary size done. It's just trying to do 36,000 tiles. Or is it 36,000 tiles? I think it's 36,000 tiles. Chance set to 2, 8.1. So it's over. So it should no longer return, which means it should now instantiate it, add it, and then. Oh, I'm an idiot. Wait, how am I an idiot? Wait, what? That's why I'm an idiot. Okay, I'll just do this for now. That should solve my issue. There's my breakpoint. Let's remove that breakpoint real quick. Order of operations issues. We've gotta love them. Yeah, now we can just let this be angry and have errors. I'm gonna have to sort out Y sorting and things like that, but it's technically working. You, what's your problem? Can't get valid path. That's fine. Yeah, so okay, that's now working. So let's just knock this back up to 250 by 250 for now, and let this have a genuine heart attack over tree spawning and tiles and issues, and it didn't do the thing again. Right. Why is that? That's the same. Place is the same. What? Was it more? Why is it placing it below the tiles? That should not. That's confusing and dumb and should not do that. What? Yeah, now it's working, kind of. Not really. Huh. Well, that's awkward. Let's first sort out something really, really stupid that I should have done to begin with. I need to clear out these dictionaries. So yeah, I need to clear out the biome data dictionaries when I do this. So let's just go through that real quick. Oh no, I'm not using Rudder. Whatever shall I do? Okay. Very quickly through this as well. I need to grab the, because it's getting at to, yeah. So for I in terrain object manager dot get children I dot q3. That doesn't solve the placement though, but that does solve the, yeah. Okay, so now we are getting a bunch of different tiles here, or a bunch of different trees spawning, but they're all spawning up in the top left. So new question, why? Yeah, path clearing issues, cool. Why? Also, why is that? Do you know what? No, we'll figure that out at a different point. Why is that there? Oof. So that's getting called after, which is fine. It needs to get called before the pathfinding gets set up and after the tiles have been placed, which makes sense. So, new question here is. Seven. Ah, why is that happening? Okay, you can't tell me that the chance for all of these is going to be below 20. Let's brick this real quick. There you go. Okay, so there's our forest. It's technically working. Okay, so we're getting a bunch of trees being placed. That's good at least, right? This is a good thing to see. The chances just being an issue. Why? Chances are 7-3 if it's below the chance return, so that should be fine. So that should never return out. Instead, it should just do the tile adding. That's fine. And chance is 0-2. That's fine. Oh 05, 04, 02, 05, 07, 03. This should all be working. Anybody's curious what I'm actually looking at here? I'm looking at this, right? So this is the chance that basically things should spawn at. If it is below this chance, then it should not spawn anything. So we should just return out the statement. Now, if it is above the chance, which this is what this is here, it should basically carry on, create a new object, add the child, and then set a position for it. It's really, really, really simple, basic for loop for spawning things. Now, the thing that's happening here is it's not. As you can see, it's spawning a few things, but then it's stopping. Now, I thought that might be because of the keys. It's nothing to do with the keys, it's literally just this. So, nudum. Okay. That's just a giant rock of a mountain. Cool. Now we are getting very, very few trees or no trees. Interesting. Let's set that down to 5, so 50% chance on each tile. That's because it's only running the... only creating it once, so that needs to be basically randomized every single time. And by that I just mean that that variable needs to be created every single time. It needs to be a new variable every time. Now if I do that, what's happening is it's not placing the tree correctly. Very, very high chance this is just me being very dumb. Am I actually being dense right now? So throughout that whole thing, that placed one tree. Let's look at the remote and actually make sure that I only placed one tree. That seems not correct. Welcome back from your walk. Also don't need to be placed through the dictionary, technically speaking, but that's a problem we'll get to in a minute. Ah. Now why is that happening? Back to the terrain generator. What should be being passed through here is the... Yeah, so that's what should be getting passed through. Oh, new question, why isn't it? Order of operations thing? No, because if it was order of operations, then it just wouldn't be working in general. That's being placed through grass, so that should be technically working, and we should just be passing through the... Let's just try passing through just the keys. So we're just doing this a dumb way now. Array. Yep, that is still only getting passed through once or just not at all. Let's do something more dumb, right? Let's check what actually is getting passed through here. Let's go pause. Let's just print out this array and make sure that that is getting passed through correctly. Yep, so it's getting passed through correctly. For loop's just not going through correctly. I swear I'm not an idiot. Okay, yeah, we're just going to ignore that happened. Let's just ignore that happened. Let's just say that I didn't just spend that long debugging an issue that's very, very much not an issue. Jesus. Don't know how to feel about that one. Okay, so this is where my brain is sitting here going, you know, having the individual tile types is interesting. So what I can do now is I could separate this even further, right? I have specific forest tiles. So what I can do is more or less just I can remove that print statement. Yep. That should be fine for now. I just now need to drill into it and just be like, hey, is this the type of thing that needs to be spawned in this location? Apologies, by the way, I wasn't really good at explaining what I was doing there else as debugging, but more or less, yeah. This is one of those instances where what I was actually doing is, as ending the for loop, right? The second this ran into an object that was, or a chance that was less than, or the random integer was less, or random float was less than the actual chance, it would just return out. Now, the second it returns out, it just stops calling all of this. So what I actually needed to do here is just use continue. Continue basically says skip this iteration of the loop. So I needed to continue and not return, and that was just me being extremely dense. So, God, I'm looking forward to working on the tower defense stuff soon as well. Reminds me, yeah. Okay. So with that done, yeah, so the next thing I just got to actually do is drill into it. Basically test it based on biome type. This is where I could sit here and just be like, hey, what biome type is this? And then I can run probably 3 individual match statements to separate it, but that seems like a big waste of energy. See, this is where reworking this into a more resource-based system would be a good idea. Be a lot easier to just kind of manage all of the data in general. But on the bright side, trees. The bright side, trees. We have trees. Now we have way too many trees. Let's actually do the solid and just bump this up properly. Why are you being rude to me now? What? Did that reconnect? It did not. I have to reopen that. That's fine. Okay, that's grand. That set to 0. It should not be set to 0. It should be. Let's try this at 256 by 256, which is what I was originally using this at, and run. Hell yeah. Yeah, next plan is to literally just separate this, right? So the lighter areas here shouldn't have trees, or it should be more sparsely populated by trees. The grassy areas should be a bit denser, but not too dense. And then the actual darker green areas should be deeper forests. But we get trees. Trees that are technically Y-sorted correctly as well. That's neat. Trees that will need to be taken into consideration for movement values as well. That's going to be fun. That's actually going to be pretty simple. That's just going to be adjusting a cell resource that I basically have set up to take into account what's on top of it. There is a different algorithm I could actually be using for the tree placement here, where it's more or less just going based off of density. It's going through each individual tile, each individual dark green tile here, and it's basically going, oh, okay, this should be, a lot of this should be trees, and it should make really dense forests. And then it should have it like kind of peter out a little bit. It's what, cellular automata, basically? That looks awesome. I am asked. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a bit sporadic at the moment. By sporadic, I mean it's a bit too dense. I just need some separation, which is not too hard to handle. Not really. What I could actually do here, let's just drill down into this. That's rover, that's rider. There we go. Let's drill down into this a little bit easier, and we'll just do this the really quick way. Now, high likelihood is it's Friday today. By Monday's stream, what's going to end up happening is a lot of this will be reworked. Because me and weekends, I don't know, I end up like going a lot faster on weekends, and I'll be putting a lot more time into this. But the only thing you need to do instead is batch groups of them, then add a randomize for the radius. Yes, that's actually one of the things I'm more than likely going to end up adding. One thing that I was going to actually do here really quickly is because of how they are currently generating, I want to go into the terrain generator, and I want to more or less change the dictionary, right? I don't want this to be a grass dictionary. It's going to need to be a grass dictionary, but I'm going to want for now, we'll just do a var biome underscore data underscore forest underscore dictionary. This is not an efficient way of doing this, not really, but some data separation is kind of useful right now. And that's what I'm going to slap into here. That's grass, that's forest, there we go. Biome. There we go. Forec. No, that is not what that's supposed to be called. We'll rename that in a second. There we go, forest. And now, if I go to here, what I should be able to pass through instead of the biome data is or instead of the grass data, I can just pass through the keys for the forest data. Why have I spelled that wrong? Dictionary, that'll work. That way you can have empty spaces between blocks. Yes, that is one thing that would be fun. But ta-da! Now we have this kind of denser forest in the actual forest tiles. I can adjust random chance for now based off. We're gonna ignore that happened. It didn't do it. Right here. Forest not clear. There we go. You didn't see anything. Everything was working perfectly fine, and there wasn't trees being placed on top of mountains because I forgot to clear the dictionary. There we go. Yes, now proper batching is going to be a good idea. Like, instead batch groups of them, and then yeah, that is going to definitely be the next step. Because the other option is to just run a very, very tighter chance on each individual tile, and that just sounds like a kind of pain now. And yeah, it does look a bit, these tiles need to be blended better, that's for sure. Very obvious when the forest ends and begins, which maybe that's a good thing. But yes, other than that, making these interactable, making them actually drop wood, be cuttable, and affect the tile they are currently on. So the character will actually move through. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait a second. Wait, I want to make a very dumb modification real quick. I want to go into the... How would I do this? How would I do this? That would be a dumb idea. Doing it here would be a dumb idea. Actually, yeah, let's just... This is a really, really dumb idea. Where am I? Right here? Yes, instead of an array, that needs to go back to being a dictionary. Select, there we go, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Key in, yep, that's fine. And now, so we know here if this is a thing, right? Now, really, really cool, but really, really kind of dumb thing. So what, I should actually explain this instead of just saying random words. So, how I'm handling pathfinding is done through A star. Now, A star takes in a specific requirement to adjust pathing. That requirement, if I look at the cell data resource, the movement cost, right? It's reading the movement cost now of each individual cell that I pass through to it. So what I can do here is if a tree is spawned on a tile, I can just adjust the movement cost. And by that, I mean I could add to it. So what I can do, or I can multiply it, but that's That wouldn't be a bad idea. We're not going to do that though. We're just going to add to it. We're just going to grab the cell dict. Oh no, that's not going to be a type dictionary, is it? No, I'm going to need to go var cell is equal to wait, cell data resource is equal to the cell dict and pass through the key, and then I'm going to need to go cell. Take a breath. There we go. Dot movement cost plus equals movement cost. No, plus equals the new object dot object resource dot. That will work. It's just being grumpy with me. That won't work because it's not being grumpy with me because new object is what? Oh. There we go. Order operations will. Yeah, that should now take into account the movement cost. I need to make sure this is generating in the correct order. Yep, it is generating in the correct order. That's going to be interesting. So very, very quickly, let's go to where I'm handling pathfinding, which I think is under here. So yeah, pathfinding grid GD. Right here. It is pulling it off. Grand. So that should work. I think that should work. We need to adjust the tree resource real quick. We'll just give it like an extra 2. So higher movement cost means it'll try to avoid them more. Should be dictionary base array. Right. Where am I passing through the dictionary? Oh, I know where I'm passing through the dictionary. This is just me being a bit dense again. I don't want the keys, I want you. There we go. Movement cost on best object resource. Excuse me. Oh, there's a motorcycle outside. That's fun. Let's train utils that sell data, pathfinding terrain generator. Right. Right. Let's just do something stupid and just see if this is a thing. See if I could just do this. Func get underscore movement underscore cost. This will return a float. Why did I just open that on a second? Stop that. And we want to return the object resource dot movement cost. And then I can just, instead of doing this, I can go new object dot get that should technically work better, unless it's just gonna, hey, wait, okay, let's see, click, you're ignoring the movement cost, I think. I'm not going to set up some, oh no, it is trying to weave through the trees. Generate it again. You are up there, aren't you? So it should avoid this cluster. It shouldn't walk straight through the cluster. It's walking straight through the cluster, isn't it? No? It is kind of avoiding them. Okay. Then let's do this. Let's make sure that the movement cost on this is like really, really high. Yeah. So it is actively avoiding the tree tiles now. Specifically the tile, like the center tile of the tree. So that is actually quite good. That means it's, yeah, it's avoiding them. That's nice. That is very, very nice. Yeah, we got some kind of a pathfinding. I'm gonna have to definitely, as Art said, patch them, add some randomization for the radius, and then just, yeah, do that. But that is so cool. I love A-star pathfinding. A-star pathfinding is really, really interesting. Now, I don't have any line debugging on right now, so you can't see the path that this is trying to take. I will probably add that over the weekend, just because debug lines are quite nice. But yeah, I'm really happy with this so far. This is like, it's very little. There's very little things actually going on here, but this is actually really nice. It's really nice to have this. You should make a helper for getting the neighbors and stuff. Yes, yes. That would be probably a good idea. But I like this. This is nice. So there is some things that I'm gonna have to like think about as well, where it's like, I don't want forests to just contain just trees, if that makes sense. It's going to need to contain a lot of different things, whether it's trees, mushrooms, fruits, you know, different random things. It is coming together, yeah. That's kind of the best part about game dev, is you get to just sit here and go, progress. I see progress, and it feels good. In comparison, by the way, the character is 64 tiles. There we go. The tree is just over 64, so it actually looks like it's decent sizing. I'm gonna have to change that, but hey, placeholders. You want rivers also? Yeah, for rivers, what I'm actually thinking of doing is doing a Walker algorithm. I'm just going to pick the highest point on the map and then have it basically snake down to the lowest point and avoid height differential, so height difference between like previous height and current height. That way it will actually, you know, snake down from like the top of a mountain like it should do, and it will come down and try to more or less avoid everything height-wise. That way you get some like actual realistic rivers. Now, for that though, and this is a thing that I'm actively thinking about, is it's a bit odd to just see quote unquote a water source, because what might end up happening here is we might end up just generating water volcanoes, and that's kind of annoying. So what I might actually end up doing is generate a map that's basically, you know, just a bit larger than this, with height, like basically the larger height tiles on the outside, and then it can just pick one and then just generate from there, and then generate through to whatever the lowest one is on the other side. That way we get a proper cut through of rivers. I don't really want water volcanoes, but that might be just something we can do. But yeah, very, very basic object placement handled. Definitely gonna need to like fiddle with this though. Like you can see the hard cutoff here, and that just doesn't look right to me. So it's going to be making it so that like more that they can be placed on these tiles, but at a lot lower chance. That way it just does look better. And then on grass, you can get the occasional tree, you know, very, very rare tree, and mostly just be either nothing or bushes or twigs or things like that. As other things got a bit placed as twigs. Yeah, what is that art? Goal-oriented action planning. Oh, yes. Maybe. Probably. for the AI. We'll see. I haven't actually figured out. See, that would make the most sense. I don't know yet. I genuinely don't know yet. That's kind of gonna be the next step. But what I'm trying to currently do is just get objects being placed, right? Get the types, quote unquote, types of objects being placed, just placeholders, so they could start having the ability to have something to be interacted with. And then it's coding the interactions and how the AI actually functions, because they're going to need to manage their own data, basically managing their own hunger, their own thirst, their own boredom, etc., etc. They're going to need to manage those things themselves. The player can take over, but it should be managed by the AI itself. But goal-oriented action planning is something that I will definitely look into. Spend my weekend just looking into good ways of doing this. Other thing, by the way, that I actually want to sort out is getting these mountains actually placed as those rock tiles that I was showing off. That way I can actually start having a really fun thing I was doing in the past was you store tile type in an array or a dictionary, and then you go over it with the auto tiling function. There is like a set tile path thing, and you can just have this all auto tiled for you correctly. So that is probably the next thing I will be adding to make sure the mountains get placed correctly. That is a very straight line. I also need to center the player more, because like the camera centers itself on generation. Ooh, I'm also going to need to generate, or like make sure the area gets generated properly. So, but I could just run over that with a different algorithm that just once again like checks neighbors and checks for a large enough empty area to just put people in. That way, when you start, you at least have a play area to be messing around with, and you don't have to immediately dig through a wall or something. See, this is genuinely the part that I like. I like sitting here and going, "What's next?" Realistically speaking, improving how the trees are getting placed and then making them actually turn into proper forests would probably be a good idea. One thing I would like to do is have lifespan, like object lifespan, basically. So trees get larger and older, and then eventually they die and they reproduce, spread out more, probably at like with randomized rate. But one thing that is irking me right now is this. It's just a little visual thing. I might want to just make sure the outside tiles can't have anything placed on them tree-wise. Like anything that's more than 2 tiles large just shouldn't have anything placed there. That would stop that from happening. And it would leave like a border around the edge as well. And, you know, having a border around the edge means it's easier to spawn other things in at those borders. I think other games do it, and it's like a 6-7 tile border. That way it's like actually quite thick, and you can just have those as areas to spawn things, which isn't a bad idea. But hey, trees, mountains, and player movement. Woo. It's getting there. It is getting there. And this is just like the prototype of the very base concept of colony manager. I've still got to figure out how I plan on doing some of the other ideas that I kind of want to implement into this. One of them being space related things, building your own spaceship, being in space, going to other planets, etc., colonizing other planets at the same time whilst keeping all of this data stored, which is that's going to be an interesting and fun challenge. And of course, world-based management, which would be interesting. And of course, a really different thing, well, not really different, just a really random thing here, just different trees. Not just having one tree type, because that gets kind of annoying on the eyeballs, but that's just an art thing that I can figure out at some other point. Like, that's something I've not thought about. Room detection. actually getting room detection, so I can sit there and just be like, this is a room, this is not a room. That's probably going to be useful. Just finished building a game time system. Hey, very nice, very nice. When you say game time system, do you mean separate from like timescale sort of thing, like keeping track of your own time system, or are you modifying timescale as well? Because like that's one thing that I plan on doing with this is to have like the speed up functionality. I'm just going to link it into the timescale because everything that needs to be handled, more or less everything that can just be sped up by timescale, it won't have any real impact on this. Only other than tweens, which is where I'm starting to sit there and go, maybe I design my own time-based like timescale for the engine and go from there. But game time system sounds interesting. Using events to inform the game when hours, months, etc. Ooh, very nice, very nice. That sounds very interesting. The backbone is on the update system in Unity. Ah, fair. Timescale will work fine. Interesting. No, that's actually really good. Like, God, Unity manages some interesting things in very fun ways. I love how far I can zoom into this. This is really dumb. It gives you proper like scale. I love it. Gonna need to change these icons when I zoom out to a certain extent, though. I think. Or do I even allow people to zoom out this far? Yeah. Just need to change the icon. Yeah, I think I said to you before, I will be messing with some Unity stuff soonish. It just kind of sounds like it'd be interesting. I think you want at some point is to gamify. I actually have a lot of this project gamified already. I use Codex as a way of just keeping track of what I want to do and what I'm currently doing and going from there. But if you're talking about gamifying the actual game, then yeah, that's also probably a good idea. You also want to do line2D for destination. Yes. Creating a line 2D from point A to point B is a really, really good idea. I was unsure if I wanted to handle basic path visibility through a line 2D or through shader or something. Not entirely sure yet because like the late game goal for this is to like handle pathing of the line. Yeah, that's fair. Like late game goal of this though is to have a lot of characters, not just 1 or 5 or 10, but like 30, 40 sort of thing. Small armies type deal is kind of the eventual goal for this. I know that can get a bit chaotic though, so we'll figure that out as we get to it. For now, anything scaling from like 1 to 10 is kind of the idea. And I don't know what the performance impact would be if I did that. It's not really that hard. Yeah, that's fair. I guess I could just try line 2Ds and just go from there. It wouldn't be a bad idea. Just register groups as the flyer. Yeah, yeah. Lessons destination, each entity in the group manages itself. Is he having a coffee break? I am not having a coffee break. No, I'm actually just kind of wrapping up now. Like with all of this basic objects object stuff handled. Work harder. Work harder. God, I've had that enough in my life, Jesus. Yeah, no, I am actually just wrapping up the stream now because, yeah, it's around that time. It's been roughly 2 hours. I want to start doing maybe slightly longer streams, but for now, 2 hours seems to be good on my voice. But, yeah, we got this handled today, which is actually I'm really happy with. By Monday, this should look different and should be handled much differently. And there should be a bit more in this because I'm at work like a hard little bean over the next 2 days to get something a bit more presentable and working. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's honestly genuinely kind of it. It is definitely kind of coming together. Definitely need to change a few things though and modify a bunch of other things. There's also just some code that I've kind of got written here that I would really like to change. I need to deal with a better resource system and not just using this. This needs to basically be removed as well so it can have different chances being passed through and set. And that is more than likely going to also be a resource in and of itself. Basically just pass through a resource for the chance, the etc, and just go from there. I also just might make it biome related, where I do a match statement and just be like, hey, for this biome, there should be this thing, like these amount of things randomly spawned or generated inside that biome. And then, yeah, just adding all of those individual things to larger groups and then drilling it down a little bit more and then some more subgroups that they're easier to track. And then, yeah, just group removal and things like that. Remco, thank you. You have a good day too. You could define the biomes as a resource. Yes, that is actually what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of just turning it into a resource. Yes, Remco, you have a good day as well. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. It's been, I've been enjoying this a lot. Make sure you come back. We have Discord if you want to come and chat with everybody else. Discord is in the description. I have got to remember to say that now. Jesus. Then add whatever properties you want to each resource. Yeah, that's kind of the thought. Yeah, I think that's actually where I'm just going to end it right there. Thank you all for joining. It was a lot of fun, and we may not have gotten a lot done, but we got a nice thing here actually done and sorted, because from this I can really just start moving into a lot of the other things I kind of want to work on with this, which is great. So, after some reworks through the weekend, I will see you guys on Monday. Yeah, I'll see you guys and girls on Monday. Around same time as usual. 3 p.m. GMT. I think that's also considered UTC when clocks reset soon. But yes, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.